Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, viewers. Welcome back to part 2 of Requiem for London. Part 2 specifically of a club scene that happened perhaps several hours ago, perhaps you are just watching these episodes right back to back. Regardless, when four kindred come down the stairs from a kindred-only room in the Club Enoch, the recent establishment purchased, renovated, and owned by one Emma Bellafleur, they'll notice that a large group of kindred have gathered around probably one of the tables that are cleverly disguised amongst the tangled ruins and almost sandy dunes that are all very artistically displayed within the ground level of the club. Only the three, because the fourth individual silently makes her way into the night, having no more time to spend talking with her new allies, and very hurried in her work to save her friend. The three can tell that these individuals who gathered at a kindred, and they seem to be talking amongst the mortals. They seem to be doing, the usual thing, upholding the masquerade. But one seems to be sort of at the center of them, one nobody recognizes, but one who will stand when she sees Emma Bellafleur and is quite surprised to see Alan Balls. As she gets up and begins walking towards the group, the crowd that she has sort of parts. And she appears to be a middle-aged woman by the looks of it, in a business casual suit. Alan, you will recognize that she has the iconic pin of the Lightning Throne, your own Invictus house, pinned to her collar, designating her as a member of the Prince's house. More so than that, the way she looks around Miss Bellafleur, you sense a particular kinship with this individual, a kinship that goes down to your very blood. She very well might be of the same clan as you, or some variant. However, it is Brock who will recognize this individual. Brock Solomon, the one who is the paper pusher. He will recognize her from one of the few times that he saw her actually visit the matriarch of your own Invictus house, the Queen's Road. You will know her as Talia Eventide, the Royal Herald, the voice of the Prince himself. If she is here, then, well, this is quite an occasion. What do you three do?
Emma will smile, extend a bow slowly. You must be Talia Eventide. It is a most it is a pleasure.
As she looks at the hand and will slightly smile and extend it, what does Brock and Alan do?
Just to describe Brock immediately lowers his head down and sort of bows, and he doesn't speak because he knows this is a very important person. You don't, and he sort of bows and he waits to be spoken to before he says anything.
Alan, noticing Mr. Solomon's perhaps sudden change in behavior, always super perky and being the first to speak and say hello and get along with everyone, seems to be very formal. We'll not mimic him, but we'll won't speak. He's never been good at talking anyway. He prefers this situation, and we'll just bow and we'll remain silent. And I suppose are they like right next to their seats right now?
No. You are basically only a few feet out of the door leading up to the kindred-only room. She has gotten up and walked over to the three of you,
Oh,
particularly
okay,
Miss
yeah.
Bellafleur.
Alan simply remains still, then after bowing. We'll probably make some space for her as this corridor's probably getting a bit crowded, so he'll probably move to the side of a wall or something.
As she shakes Miss Bellafleur's hand, she'll speak in a very, very pleasant-sounding voice, but there is something more to it. You detect the hint of somebody who chooses their words very carefully. She says, "You must be the lovely Emma Bellafleur.
She'll
It's a
say,
pleasure to
she'll
meet you.
smile.
I am surprised to see that you had a meeting this night. I had hoped to talk to you immediately upon arriving." And as she says that, all of you roll me wits plus empathy plus 1 dice because, Emma, you are Ventru, and you two, Alan and Brock, are of the Invictus, so
Okay.
I can get order on that. Multi success. Because I have 6 dice.
right,
And she's not
success.
lying or anything, is she?
Oh, she is being subtle about it, so this would actually be...
Oh, I guess 7 dice to that then.
No, she's
But
not being all that subtle with it, so no, it's no minuses at all.
Ooh. Hold on, I just need to look up his sheet.
okay, if depending on yeah, because I have a specialty to detect lying, so
Oh yeah,
Specialty for that.
it's auto for Brock as well.
yeah, so both
Right,
auto.
and
I
for
think.
Miss Bellafleur.
Sorry. So empathy plus
Wits.
wits. Let me make sure how much. Plus 1, right?
Plus 1, correct.
That's 2 successes for Emma.
Not bad. In fact, you all are able to tell, partially by how she's being particularly Venture about it, and also why she's being particularly Invictus about it. But she is miffed right now. She is not pleased that she had to wait for Emma Bellafleur to finish her meeting before coming down and meeting the Royal Herald, especially when Emma will know that she had given the time beforehand. And this politeness is that particular type of facetiousness that both the Venture and the Invictus are known for, as she, to all the rest of the crowd, is being just perfectly pleasant and nice.
Emma will smile. Says, "Yes, I must apologize. I would the previous meeting went over time, but I can offer you the rest of the night."
As she smiles, which you will all know is facetiously, as she'll say, "I'm so glad that you are able to spare some time to accompany me. I come with some congratulations, even more so fortuitous that you are here as well, Mr. Falls. Did you have that kindred room prepared like I had asked for?"
She'll smile. She'll say, "Yes, it is. It is here. It is ready. Would you like to join us, or would you like to?" And she'll say, "Oh, would you like to be just the 2 of us?"
And she says, "No, that is fine.
And
After all,
then,
this is a kindred only room."
well, she'll turn around and say, "Well, this way then, to anyone who wants to any and from look at the group and see that only like the group around him. There's only we're only the family." Fine. And she'll go back to the room upstairs. It's called Heaven, by the way.
Mm.
Of course.
Mm.
And
Heaven.
as the Royal Herald actually will move past Emma and take the lead, and very quickly people will very politely but almost seamlessly end their conversations with the kind and begin funneling up the stairs too, as an entire retinue of what appear to be kindred, all seemingly to be from the same Invictus house as Alan Falls, begin to head up towards the kindred owner room, along with what I'm assuming is Alan, Emma, and Mr. Solomon, who she has
Yeah.
completely ignored through all of this.
Oh yeah, that's Solomon. Solomon will, of course, be, typical. She's done this before, but that's what happens with these hoity-toity types. But he knows better not to say anything and to be polite.
Well, and Solomon's salty. Wow, I know if I'd see the day. Alan almost acts like almost like he's been part of like higher up Invictus entourages before. And he's almost playing out that role.
Actually, if you rolled empathy, wits empathy, because Brock is feeling something and he would be hiding it. But it would be minus his composure, which is not that one. Hold on, so I'm looking at the wrong sheet. Composure 3, so minusing 3, wits and empathy.
Okay, that's 3 dice I get. Nope, can't detect anything. No. He's Alan is a bit distracted by Miss I can't remember her name.
By the Royal Herald.
By the Royal Herald, that's it. That's what you say when you can't remember their name.
So Brock is feeling something at the moment, but he seems to be hiding. He's smiling. He seems happy. He's sort of gesturing. But yeah, he'll follow the group and party, and he'll stay in his place. Only speak when asked to.
And as the entire retinue in the group goes up to the second floor, so dubbed Heaven by Miss Bellafleur, is there any seating up there for...
Yes, of course. There's a table in the middle, and there's because it's a place where you can see the rest of the club. There's a table in the middle with a few chairs, and there's a chair set up to watch the people.
Indeed, as she will beckon towards the table in the middle and gesture for both Alan and Emma to take a seat along with her at the table, while everyone else just sort of takes seats around at the tables surrounding the peripheral.
Oh, has Brock not been invited either?
And not to the middle table. God, no.
Again, I think I'd say roll again, but this time don't minus his composure because he's a bit niffed at that as well.
Oh wow, he's being sent to the side.
Basically the only people at the middle table is going to be the Royal Herald herself, Emma Bellafleur, and Alan Falls.
Okay, Emma's got one empathy to see what
Wow.
Yes. Basically, you both, because you've spoken to Brock a bit, and you can tell that he was smiling, being happy and nice. But then when you two sit in the middle table and he's not sat in the middle table, he has a look of a kind of look of anger or frustration, or he seems to be upset at how rude this is, basically. But he will then politely sit down with his umbrella and his hat, and he's sipping his wine with the straw and the umbrella in it.
Anyways,
the wine, air quotes.
Yes, wine.
Emma will actually open it, get a chair out for her, for Talia, and then sit her, and then get a chair for her.
Alright, in this case, roll me wits plus socialize to see if you know the proper social cues in order to, when dealing with a person of this status.
Would Alan know, just having dealt with these kind of people before?
Yes, you would get a +1, but this is Emma's club. She's the one, by tradition, who would be making these.
Okay. She'll be making the rolls. Okay, yeah, that's fine.
You can make the rolls to see how well she does.
2.
Oh, that's good enough. You're able to follow the procedure, the etiquette of the situation modestly well. You don't seem to draw any more of the ire from the Royal Herald. And once both Alan and Emma have sat down, she will address the both of you, saying, I am here on behalf of the Prince first to congratulate the both of you, and thank you for your assistance in the recent blood hunt against the criminal named McGee. You have done a service to the city, and by being some of the first responders, the prince would like to offer a boon, one befitting each of the two of you's efforts in this very tragic time. Mr. Falls, I believe you have already been made aware by one of the hounds your reward.
Alan only knows that he's got an audience of a prince. That's pretty big. So, is that what she's implying? Because I mean that's essentially what Alexander said. So I guess he'll nod. Yeah, it's a pretty big deal. So yeah, he'll just nod gracefully and respectfully.
And she'll smile and look to Emma and say, "And to you, noble champion of the Loncade Sanctum, the prince would like to officially offer you, a proud member of your covenant, a position as vassal of London. This club would not only be your property, but also officially domain that the prince has designated to you, and as such will be protected under the prince's edicts."
And she'll smile and she'll say it is an honor.
So you shall accept then?
And she'll smile, she'll say, of course.
Very good.
Thank you. And she'll bow again.
She will
And bow.
hold her finger and go, "There's one more formality that must be done," and she'll snap her fingers, and somebody will step up and come forward with this sort of clipboard and this very leathery-looking paper upon it, as she will put forward it onto the table and slide it to Emma, and it appears to be some sort of document or contract, and she will say, "As is tradition, the vassal and the prince shall make an oath in blood, one designating lordship and one designating vassalage, in the traditional Invictus style. Because the prince could not make it himself, I, as the prince's voice, Royal Herald, am able to act on his behalf with his permission, which shall be designated by this token, which she will then withdraw from one of the pockets in her suit, which will be the sort of sealed container, but as she opens it, everyone will be immediately hit with this sense of potency. There is a single droplet of blood in there, but even everyone in the room will be able to smell and detect it. It is a very strong doubt, even for a single droplet.
Well, Alan's... Oh, is Ben frozen? I think Ben's frozen.
Oh, what was that?
Oh, sorry, I thought you were frozen.
Oh no, did you guys hear what I said?
Yep.
Yep.
In that case, how does everyone react?
Well, Alan. So, Alan has blood sympathy to a certain someone. Would he be able to compare how potent this is, per se?
Ooh. This would be I believe, wits plus occult, and this is only because you share a clan? What do you think, David?
It's technically you need the Bloodhound merit to smell VK and gain knowledge from it. So
right. Normally, it's you have to taste the VK.
You have to taste it, but you can still tell. You can still tell it's very potent and very powerful.
It's very strong. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
It's
Yes, you would have to taste the token of the prince, and you're quite certain that that would be the smartest thing to do.
Yeah, Alan will keep his hands off this one, or his tongue in this case.
I was going to say Brock would probably know what this means, what's going on, because he's probably seen this before.
Yes, it's a common practice. Basically, the prince gives the Royal Herald a bit of his vitae in order to signify that he is in agreement, even if he could not make it to an oath itself. Basically, this is an Invictus oath being signed right now.
Yeah, Alan, I think, knows this oath in particular, because he actually has a dot on it as a merit, so I think he'd know what this is.
It depends on what merit this is, but yeah, Solomon also has an oath, so he probably knows.
Since you both are Invictus, you can roll, I believe, Intelligence plus, I want to say,
That was politics. I think.
politics. Yes, thank you.
Politics. Yeah, okay.
Hold on.
Football success. Got getting those bare minimums
What's wrong?
tonight.
What's wrong with you, Chris? You only got like 110 tonight.
Yeah, there's intelligence and politics. Would speciality civil service plus to this or?
Unfortunately, no, because
Okay.
the Invictus oaths are not mere just civil services.
So he does. No, so he's a bit unaware.
You do not recognize exactly, but Alan, you do. This is the Oath of Serfdom. It's the traditional oath that is given when somebody becomes a vassal of the prince. It was used by the former prince, and it has continued to be used by the current prince. What it means is that Emma is given specific privileges, given specific abilities. At her choice, she basically gains access to a free dot of either celerity, resilience, or vigor, at her choice, and the location that is designated as her domain, she's able to immediately tell when somebody with a predatory aura enters it. The catch is that the prince basically has access to her location as well, and not only that, if the vassal ever acts against the prince, basically he adds those dots to rolls against Emma. So basically,
That free dot that you're saying discipline, can it be like, because I already have celerity 1, so can I make it like celerity 2?
yes,
Yep.
basically it would be like
There is there's already this has already been done with another player. There is a blood cost as well. You have to give a certain amount of vitae per week,
Indeed.
and to
You have to pay a toll.
represent that, you -2 to your vitae rolls.
Okay.
Yep, so just we'll make sure to write that down into the chat. Basically, she will slide forward the oath to you, and she will say, sign in blood to agree to the terms and conditions of the oath.
So yes, she'll probably cut herself somewhere, and we'll take the pen, and then we'll take a she'll probably take a in being honest, one of those a quill. No, how it's not exactly a pen, it's like a feather thing. She'll take one of these and then sign in blood.
Alright. Upon that, she will basically just open again with the reliquary, she'll simply just pour that single droplet onto the other line, and as it does so, the blood seems to form and coagulate into the signature of Robert J. Hawthorne. Again, confirming that it is indeed the prince's blood, and he does have that. And upon that, the blood will turn from red to black. She will hold it up and declare to the room, as notary, this oath has been signed and sealed. Choose now, will you defend the prince's domain with the strength of a warrior, the speed of a scout, or the fortitude of a champion?
And she'll smile and she'll say, I'll do it with the speed of a scout.
Upon that, you will feel almost the supernatural power welling up inside of you, but you also feel a bit less, as though something has been removed too. As you actually feel your blood pool decrease by 2 right now. As you'll say. Then, as the Royal Herald, I congratulate you, Emma Bellafleur, newest vassal amongst the princedom of London.
And she'll bow lowly, and she'll say, "It was a pleasure to meet you, and it is a pleasure to serve the prince. And again, I apologize for the lateness."
As she smiles but doesn't say anything, she'll then get up and say, I propose a toast. She'll again snap her fingers again, and she basically just expects one of the barkeeps in the area to bring some vitae.
Yeah, someone will bring vitae.
Oh yes. And again, they'll just start passing it around to everyone. Everyone gets a draught of the cherry-flavored wine. And she'll hold up her glass and say, to Emma Bellafleur, champion of the Loncade Sanctum.
And she'll smile and she'll say, she'll clink the glass.
Again, everyone can roll wits plus empathy again. You guys get same +1.
Oh, so it's auto again.
But this time it's going to be -2. She is being a bit more subtle with this.
Okay. Is
One
she
success.
lying? Is she trying to play me? Because that actually might affect my roll. Because if it's -2 and my specialty applies, I can alter it.
She's not trying to play you, but she is trying to play someone. I'll give you as the use of the speciality.
So
Okay, then I can
Emma's
alter
got
that.
one success.
Alright, auto success.
So hold on, wits plus empathy, -2, but
Yes.
+1. So it's 3 dice.
Oh yeah, I can actually alter the +1 dice.
It's really -1 to Brock's roll.
No, he's totally clueless. He's just sitting there, raises his glass with the umbrella in it, and starts sipping it through the straw.
Okay, I guess I should switch my specialty to untruth rather than lie, because that kind of ruins the surprise.
Yeah. So,
I would say
Emma
falsehoods would be a good specialty for that, but
Yeah.
basically Emma and Alan, as the vitae is going up to your lips as she drinks deeply, you'll sort of realize that Emma has somewhat of a reputation right now amongst the Invictus, and the bishop has been sort of very clear about that with Emma so far. You actually get the feeling that this is actually her sort of mocking the Sanctified, not particularly Emma. A sort of call out to the Second Estate that despite the great and powerful wars they sent in, the only one to come out alive was this kindred. And so almost as a subtle insult, they've given the reward of a champion to little Emma Bellafleur. Again, it's a very subtle type of insult.
Alan always seems to kind of slide back his just chair a little bit, and he just kind of cups the wine almost. Looks like oh kind of thing. As this drinks, he just kind of looks like he just kind of gives like Emma a bit of a look, a bit of a cheeky look. It's kind of hard to tell because he's drinking at the same time, but it's like
Alan likes you. We can all tell. We all know.
It's like Alan's just like you just got burned.
Oh, not her.
Mag, please.
Not her in particular, but yeah, it was a burn.
Yeah, worse. The entire covenant.
Brock is just happily smiling in the background, doing nothing.
Yeah, Alan's just going to be making Reddit posts about this.
Anyways, I might have to leave.
Emma, you now have the Oath of Fealty. Not Oath of Fealty, the Oath of
Serfdom.
Serfdom, thank you. The Oath of Serfdom, it's a 2-dot Invictus oath. You are the vassal in the oath. Well, the prince is the liege.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to leave, so I guess this is where the scene ends.
It'll continue for a tiny bit more. As the party continues, at this point, the Herald begins just sort of chatting a bit more amongst the people here. Some of the other retinues begin actually talking to Brock and Alan and even Emma. Some of them even come up and congratulate Emma. Some of them facetiously, Emma can tell, but others genuinely. They, much like Brock, sort of didn't get that this was some sort of hidden insult along with a reward. And they are genuinely happy for you. And some of them ask about, like, what happened, what was it like to come forward with a ravaged dog McGee. It's like, you are so brave, and very much like that. And as Emma just begins sort of talking with some of the crowd, I suppose maybe Alan Falls will slip in next to Brock Solomon, who is probably happily enjoying his cherry-flavored wine, as Emma exits the scene. Thanks again, man. Have a good day.
Okay, see ya.
Good luck.
See ya.
See ya.
Brock is he's chatting away to one of the kindred, one of the staff members. And he again, it's the obvious sort of story. He keeps saying, "Oh yes," and she tried to mug me. Could you just? He seems to be just telling everyone that story. But then he sees you, and he'll kind of listen, sorry, I'd love to speak a bit more, but it's my good friend Alan, and he sort of walks over.
Yeah, Alan. Just say it's other people. You'll just say hi to the person who's with him, and say, "Oh, hey! Oh, it's pretty tense back there."
Was it? It's quite extraordinary. I've never seen anyone declare an oath of serfdom to the prince as a vassal. That's a very, very big role. I did not think Emma was that a bigger deal, but
Alan, would Alan know the actual term for? Because there's a term that's used for the oath of serfdom called castling.
I believe, since you succeeded on the oath check, yes, you would.
Yeah, Alan will just say then. Yeah, it's actually it's been around for a while. I think it's so much so there's a term for it. It's called castling, like in chess.
oh yes. But I just didn't know that I only assumed that only the very powerful members of the Covenants were declared gained serfdom from the prince himself.
That might be the point. He kind of just whispers that one.
But I still find it a bit frustrating. I was left out of that little meeting, but I guess it was between our dear host Emma and I'm surprised that she allowed you to sit on the table. But I'm guessing that's to do with this McGee business.
Yeah, I was around for that one. Pretty dark there. I'd prefer to leave that one alone, if at all possible.
Oh, understood. I just hope you've made more. No, I just hope you made more friends and enemies from that one. A lot of the loud members seem to be quite upset about McGeely. He sounds like a ghastly individual to me, though.
He was a bit more than what he seemed. I don't think many people knew really just how far he'd fallen. Came as a shock to everyone, really.
God, how could a kindred fall so far? Ugh.
Difficult to say, really.
But we'll move on. We'll move on from this. You can tell you're trying. You don't particularly want to.
He says that as in he kind of doesn't really. It's a difficult. He says that as in he doesn't really understand how someone could become so brutal. Like even Alan, who's not exactly the nicest person, it seems a bit off-put by McGee. It's quite even by Alan's standards, which are clearly not as high as Brock's. He's like this. He's kind of implying that this guy really was quite brutal.
But he will. Brock will turn again, sipping on his straw. Will turn to look around the room. Does he see the lady host, the major guest at the party?
Indeed. In fact, she's still talking with Emma a little bit. It seems that she's sort of indulging small talk right now and sort of talking along, mostly just listening to some of the sycophants who are talking along with Emma and listening to her stories and maybe even listening to like some of her passions and hobbies. On occasions, you'll smile and laugh. It's all, well, you two can tell that it is more for show than anything, but she is giving her a tiny bit more respect since she does now indeed have the title of vassal to the prince. It seems more than anything, or at least to Alan, that this was more of a jab specifically at the Sanctified rather than Emma as an individual.
I'm just kind of looks on what. Although this was a nifty little political ploy, he kind of thinks to himself, this has made things a bit more complicated, as he can't exactly sneak in now.
Brock will look to you and just sort of. How is Alan actually acting? Is he acting a bit? Is he trying to hide this sort of thought of something's wrong?
Imagine he'd sort of be just a bit withdrawn right now. Maybe
that's kind of his standard state.
That's
of
his standard state of mind.
Yeah, he's generally very withdrawn. He doesn't socialize too much. He's really just kind of, rather than talking to people, letting everyone else do the talking and kind of observing. You get that this is probably generally how he acts. It's not necessarily rudeness, more than just he's just kind of sticking to what he's good at.
I mean, I think Rock, after hanging around with you for a while now, kind of gauges that. Excuse me, I did think that he was quite a rude man when I first met you, but it seems I was wrong. You seemed more the observant type, the silent and observant, I guess.
Yeah, well, I can't blame you too much. I've never come across as particularly charismatic.
Well, I do find it very surprising that this Emma figure gained safety, but then again, she did take down this McGee individual. But just feel that. What was the boon the prince offered you?
That's stop winking at me. I'll go. That is going to be a surprise. I'm pretty sure you'll figure it out. Well, soon enough. He just kind of winks to you. Well, yeah, that's pretty much entirely honest. He's definitely saving it. He's definitely keeping it a surprise. You also get the sense that he's perhaps a bit afraid to brag. You don't really have to roll empathy for that. He's definitely being very cautious, like not out of mistrust per se, but out of word travels fast, and you don't want to. I'm sure Brock knows how the cacophony works.
I would say that Brock will just as you say this goes, oh well, look, my friend's success is my success, as he looks to you. And roll me empathy and wits, as Brock is going to be saying, trying to hide something.
Oh.
Again, minus Brock, which is 3 dice.
3. Is falsehood specialty apply here?
Yes, that would apply.
Okay. One success.
Yeah, he says this, but there is a hint of jealousy. There's a hint of well done, congratulations, you get type thing.
Alan will. He seems to think on that for just a moment before. And then you'll just say, "Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that." But hey, it wasn't exactly easy or pleasant getting it. It's as I said, pretty dark stuff you have to deal with. So.
Oh well, I hope the cost was worth it.
Well, I certainly hope so. Yeah, ain't fun. Generally, no matter who it is, seeing kindred go up in flames. Death's always a tragedy and all that.
Again, Brock, he doesn't quite understand. Like, he doesn't seem to realise what you're talking about. So he kind of just nods happily, quite ignorant, very ignorantly. So.
Very ignorant of what very ignorant of the implication.
Yep. So he nods, but then he'll look around the room. He's going to look for some lovely lady to drink on, I think, in a few moments. He still hasn't quite quenched his thirst, and he does love to drink from a pretty lady, so he will be doing that in a moment.
Alan will just chase someone down outside. Because he's sneaky, and he's not good with people, so that's pretty much all he can do.
Yeah. Well, the drinks are on the house tonight, it seems like, as the night continues to drag on. The crowd slowly begins to leave once the Royal Herald politely excuses herself, and a good deal of the retinue actually do stay behind, but several of them leave with her. And, of course, Emma goes off to attend to the other guests at the opening night, leaving just the two of you well, relatively secluded in the upstairs section of Enoch. Any closing thoughts on what has just transpired, what is going to transpire, and how much easier or difficult things have become since the unfortunate blood hunt of McGee?
Alan, it doesn't take too long for thoughts of McGee to leave him. There has been time travels quite quickly for him still, so he remains as he does. Begins interacting slightly more socially now. Still remaining relatively withdrawn. Will even take part in a couple of the drink smashing, the toasts. And after a while, we'll go off on a quick hunt outside and see if there's anyone around the side of this building to feed off of. There's probably some addicts sticking around somewhere. Poor guy.
Yeah, somewhere here or there. This is just the right type of neighborhood for your type of hunting, so you're able to find one quite easily.
Brock, he will be socializing. He'll be there all night, as long as he can, just socializing, talking, telling jokes, telling stories, trying to gain as much information and try and make as many contacts and friends as possible. And he, though, is filled with thoughts of a bit of jealousy, a bit of envy, a bit of, well, how did Emma get to be? She's not even Invictus. I mean, I work hard, I do my job well, and I don't get those sort of rewards. And maybe I should be more active. I should do more. He sort of thinks. Do a bit more. Make my sire proud. He did tell me to get out there a bit more and politic. Is that how this all works? Politics, I guess. But we'll see. He thinks, and then he goes off to politely feed on a lovely young lady if they're around. And again, he does this very gently, very pleasantly, with a smile on his face.
Indeed, and so the dance macabre continues on as the dead go back and forth once more in their games, always playing their games with one another. The old manipulating the young manipulating the younger. The moon crawls across the sky ever so slowly, and in time the sun will begin to peek over the horizon, and the dance will end for a time. It will be back again next night. And so will we, dear viewers. Thank you all for watching, and have a lovely night.